There have been a lot of shocking and upsetting moments in the superhero realm when it comes to our beloved superheroes stabbing each other in the back or just being on the receiving end from someone whom they truly loved and trusted, but end up getting utterly betrayed by them in some way or form. Whether that's their true love sleeping with their arch nemesis or having a close friend wipe out your entire family, today we're going to go over our top 10 superhero betrayals. And kicking off our number 10 slot is Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards. If somehow you are not aware or familiar with who the Fantastic Four are, let me give you a brief rundown. 4 superheroes with powers fighting the bad guys. And when you're branded Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four, one could say you were the leader of the superhero team. So, where's the betrayal in all of this? Well, Reed Richards actually ends up getting another name, and that is the Maker. In the Ultimate Marvel comics, we see that he clearly gets to know evil very well. So his team isn't too supportive of his new role, as you can imagine, but with the Maker being really supportive of wreaking havoc and trying to torture and kill many superheroes, that's a big 180 if I've ever seen one, and that's why he takes our number 10 spot. Coming in at our number 9 spot, we have Iron Man, the one who forced a ton of superheroes to fight each other. We all love the epic battle that took place in Captain America Civil War, but let's go deeper than that. In the comics, it doesn't turn out so well for Cap in the end because he actually ends up getting capped. That's right, he dies. Now, I know Iron Man doesn't shoot him and gun him down, but let's face it, if Iron Man did not side with the government on enforcing superheroes to basically not have their freedom, this would never have happened. So that's why Iron Man takes our number 9 spot with betraying his friend Captain America. At number 8, we have Jean Grey, the one who becomes the Dark Phoenix. Are y'all noticing a pattern here of superheroes with their teams and turning on them in their evil versions? Well, this is the case that we have again with Jean Grey, a member of the X-Men turning on them with what would be her new team, the Hellfire Club, as she turns into the Dark Phoenix, which, as you can imagine, doesn't seem very superhero-like. Even though she wasn't a part of the Hellfire group for too long, she did fight the X-Men with them, so they probably weren't too happy seeing one of their old teammates team up with the baddies. Coming in at number 7, we have the Scarlet Witch. The Scarlet Witch is a very powerful superhero in the MCU and in the comics, and in the MCU she wasn't even introduced as a superhero, but eventually joins up with the Avengers, so we can assume that she is a superhero, right? Well, keep in mind that in the comics she's a mutant, and at one point she eliminates most of the mutant race. She ends up taking away almost all of every mutant's abilities. And do you think nearly wiping out your own species when you were once protecting them is considered betrayal? Well, here at Superhero Central, we definitely classify this as betrayal considering the fact that she took away the abilities of tens of thousands of mutants, which is why we have her at number 7. At our number 6 spot, we have Old Man Logan. The Wolverine in general can definitely be hot-headed for sure, but when he wants to protect someone, you better watch out. In this case, he was trying to protect Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, or so he thought. With Logan being under the powers of Mysterio, he thought he was doing the right thing by doing what he could to protect what he's supposed to. However, little did he know that in the process, he's actually wiping out and slaughtering the entire X-Men. Mysterio tricked Wolverine into thinking that supervillains were attacking the mansion. Wolverine thought that he was actually fighting supervillains, but in reality, he was actually killing all of the mutants inside of the mansion. To be fair, it's not necessarily his fault, but man, this was pretty brutal. At number 5, we have Sharon Carter. In this case, we see another superhero who wasn't exactly responsible for doing this deed, considering she was being manipulated by Dr. Faustus, but the fact that it was indeed her hands that pulled the trigger that sent her man, Captain America, into his grave is pretty intense to say the least. That's right, Sharon Carter is responsible for killing Captain America. At our number 4 spot, we have Superman killing his beloved Lois Lane. Yes, he was indeed drugged by the Joker, so he's not exactly responsible there, but what makes matters worse is that he goes absolutely berserk on the world for this, pretty much betraying the entire Justice League and every superhero that stood in his way. Again, it's messed up because Lois was actually pregnant as well, but man, don't take it out on the entire world. Although I'd probably do the same. Coming in at our number 3 spot, we have Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern. Hal was doing just fine as a superhero until his hometown coast city got obliterated. Yup, that one pushed him a little too far over the edge. He starts to go crazy, and when confronted by the other Lantern members, he gets super defensive and, well, he pretty much kills almost all of them. He then goes on an even bigger rampage and becomes the villain Parallax. So the killing of the guys who you once fought next to side by side is pretty much frowned upon. Sliding into our number 2 spot, we have Gambit. To start off, Gambit isn't the most iconic superhero, but he definitely has his moments. So to think that he would actually end up teaming against the X-Men in a degree is pretty sad, but this actually happens. He ends up helping aid Mr. Sinister in slaughtering so many people in New York, all because he was just trying to get some help with his powers. Well, you barked up the wrong tree, Gambit, because that was a bad move, obviously, because the X-Men are going to fight back and protect their people, but this was not an easy fight for them, and they didn't go unscratched, to say the least. And finally, at our number 1 spot, the baddest betrayal of all superheroes, we have Black Widow, who betrayed all of America by being the ultimate, hands down, number 1 Russian spy. Let's just get to some specifics of the level of betrayal with this superhero because it far exceeds over 9,000. To start off with, let's look at the Avengers. Yup, she betrayed every single one of them, but let's look deeper and more intimately. You have her lover, Tony Stark, who she just does so much wrong to. Then on the other hand, you have her dear friend, Hawkeye. And she took it way too far and way too personally, if you ask me, when it comes to Hawkeye, because she just massacres his entire family. No big deal to her. And while Clint is holding his dead son after Black Widow killed his family, she says, "Relax, Clint, he's up in heaven with his mother now," who Black Widow just killed. And considering that her and Hawkeye have been romantically involved before as well, it just doesn't sit right. Hawkeye does, however, get his revenge, but even in her death, she's still a savage with her last words. Right before he kills her, she says, "Got a message for the wife and kids, Hawkeye? Anything you'd like me to pass along?" And that's why Black Widow takes our number 1 spot out of all of the superhero betrayals. Let us know what you think about this list in the comments down below. Would you replace any of these, and what would your list look like? Let us know. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any superhero content. As always, this is Warren, and thanks so much for joining us here at Superhero Central.